Well guys, when it comes to picking out a fishing rod for your first time, it can be a daunting task. There's so many different fishing rods and so many different things that you can choose from that it can be overwhelming and you might be unsure of what to get. So this video, I'm going to be showing you, I have some rods over here, I'm going to be showing you what different levels of rods are for different levels of fishermen. And you can use them whether or not what level you think you're at, but this video is going to be strictly for people who are just learning about fishing, just getting their feet wet, and have never really fished before but would love to start getting into it. With all that being said, let's get into the different rods. So the first rod and probably the easiest rod for anyone to pick up and use is going to be something similar to a Zebco or a Zebco itself. So a Zebco basically has a spool on the inside that is similar to a baitcaster, but without the repercussions of a baitcaster with the bird's nesting and stuff. So basically all you have to do with the Zebco is click this button, line where you point the rods you want to cast, throw it over your shoulder and you're good. These rods, generally you can get one at different stiffness, different actions, different lengths, you name it. This is probably the best rod for beginners to use. It is the easiest one to use and generally comes pre-set up with stuff. So that is definitely going to be your most beginner friendly and just like never have ever went fishing, never been exposed to fishing in their life. The next rod, and is basically the same level as the other one, just a little bit different style, is going to be a spinning rod. So this one, generally if you're an adult and not under the age of 10, I would advise to get this one. These kinds are going to be a little bit better for bigger fish and just more like generally fishing for everything. These rods are going to be good. The reels are basically the similar use to those, but you'll want to open the bail. It's just got a little bit more going on, which I will show how to cast each different rod in a different video. So if you are looking for that, there'll be other videos about this on the channel or wherever. So this is going to be your kind of middle of the line rod. It's not going to be wildly, and that's another thing about the Zebco. The Zebco is going to be pretty cheap. This one's going to be your next level along with this other one. But this one's going to be still super easy to use, just you're getting into a little bit more professional fishing. The next rod is a bait casting rod. So this is basically a souped up version of the Zebco. Very similar action, very similar casting. Going to be pretty much that same kind of rod. But you're going to be able to put these kind of reels and pair them with different rods. That'll have much more variety. So you'll be able to get deep with the fishing and have different rods and different reels for different kinds of fish and situations. So these kind of rods are going to give you more flexibility for the future, but are definitely going to be harder to use than the Zebco. Another thing to take in consideration when buying a rod is the price. And so I already kind of talked about some of the basic differences between each style of rod, but they all come in at a different price point. And so with that being said, there's a lot of different people out there, a lot of different budgets. And so the Zebco is going to be your cheaper route. That's why I always put it as the best beginner rod, because it's going to be cheaper and user-friendly and all that. It's not going to be as flexible for when you grow in your fishing hobby. You're not going to be able to, I mean, you can use it for a long time, but when you get more in-depth with what each rod can do, the Zebco, you'll outgrow that. But for starting, the Zebco is the best and comes in at the lowest price. And the other two will come in at similar prices depending on how you pair your reel and rod. And so that's just kind of the big price difference too as well, why the Zebco would be a very good beginner rod.